Hey guys, so I was about to put the finishing touches on my new Info Runner Star Citizen video when I saw that Star Citizen just released a 10 for the Chairman special edition having to do with character heads and character customization. So I know nothing about it. Haven't read anything about kind of character customization or what they have planned for it. So this is a totally new arena, something I haven't even thought about. So I wanted to actually watch this right away. So I dumped all that for a second, all the editing. I'll still get that out ASAP, but I definitely wanted to get in here and watch this. So character customization. Let's see what they got for us.
Welcome to a special edition of 10 for the Chairman. I'm here, my guest Josh Herman, our character art director, who's based here in Los Angeles, but he's the head of the global character pipeline. And we're doing a slightly different format. We've sort of decided to try and switch around the 10 for the ... show. So
Sweet bear.
Ask questions specifically about something we want to talk to. We have 10.
A little QA session on characters.
And most specifically sort of heads and facial stuff. So we're going to get to that, but first I'd like to say thank you to Davidian, who sent these very nice little teddy bears of Squadron 42. Mine's got a little name.
My friend literally
very good.
loves games. Like, he doesn't care what the game's about. He literally loves games that has deep character customizations. Like, he'll play a game and customize characters for hours.
All right, one more time. Come on, Teddy. Sit correctly.
It's nuts.
There we go. See? Not too much abusive.
So hopefully this will appeal to him.
All right, first question is from the Deadly Kenny and Gaz Lawal, Bacon of War,
The Deadly Kenny,
Kenzie Snow, and Steve Hunter. So I guess it's a question asked by quite a few people.
Popular one.
They all ask, so we know that character heads will be scanned in. However, will we be able to manipulate these scanned versions to customize them to create our own characters, or will we only be able to select a specific set? You know, you pick sort of a base head, maybe combine a few of them, and then also alter the various features on it, your hairstyle,
sure.
Skin color, eye color, sort of the general stuff, and sort of adapt it around.
Okay, the general stuff, but what about like
I think you'll be able
brow height and stuff like that? Did you guys read that as,
a little later on, there's another question.
like, say if there's 9 female heads, would you be able to take mix and like morph between the different 9 female heads, or
player heads?
You have a base model and there's like a
female.
specific ranges you
9
can
architect heads for male and 9 architect heads
you can
for female.
slide or adjust on each of those heads.
Customize it.
From there you could take pieces from the other ones like you talked about that we scanned, and then you could kind of create your own custom one based off of that.
Yep. But we won't let you
Oh, okay.
Gary Oldman's head.
Definitely not.
Okay, so that's the first.
So you can't have.
Second question,
So it is mixing and matching the existing scanned heads.
Draco and Sue Kabi, I think.
Okay.
T-A-B-I. Not sure if I pronounced that right.
I mean, I don't think I want my own scanned head.
About hairstyles and how customized.
Wouldn't that be cool though? If the
what
was it, the Stargazer, the Razor Stargazer, those 3D scanned heads? Imagine if it had support for that. You could scan in your own head.
And so each one of those
That'd be
is gonna
sweet.
have a lot of different variations.
I almost thought about buying one today, but I realized the 60 frames a second was only
granular, not be able to do that.
Was only on 720, not 1080.
Both in style, parting, lengths.
All sorts of different hairstyles. So if you think of a hairstyle out there, I think we've got.
We'll have it. Something. Yeah.
Just gotta ask: is there any physics with the hair?
Choose the color of your hair, and then you can put that on your head. So basically,
exactly.
The base would start with an archetype hair.
Will a waft of hair
then choose what kind of style of hair you want.
wave when you're walking?
Color you want, eye color you want.
Sorry, I gotta ask. I just gotta ask.
And on top of that, you can start to adjust facial features. So it won't be too dissimilar to a lot of sophisticated sort of avatar creation. The amount of detail in character creation, will it let me make my own doppelganger? So what do you think, Josh? Do you think we'll be able to make a doppelganger?
I think with the amount of heads that we've scanned, you'll probably be able to find somebody who has like eyes like yours, or a mouth like yours, or different facial features like yours. So with that, you could probably, like Mr. Potato Head, like put those pieces together and find something that looks kind of like you.
So you should be able to try to get close. I mean, I do sometimes when I play.
Okay, but that's still.
Look like me. necessarily succeed all the time, but you know.
Can I go like
Okay, next question.
0.5% of the way to that head, or is it just
as in the model
that head's mouth or that head's mouth?
Qualify
You know what I mean?
the question that we asked when we were soliciting these a while back.
Because I think our characters have like some upwards of 400 blend shapes.
Yep, over 400
So that would
blend
be
shapes.
400 individual sculpts that we would need to make to match what we're doing. So it's really not an approach we would want to be taking to get the realism that we want, especially for the actors that we have.
We work with, there's a company called 3 Lateral who are sort of quite well known for their head rig and head animation
So
technology.
when he says 400 blend shapes, I mean, I used to do character animation in Maya, but that was like long time ago.
We've been
And I forgot, is a blend, so when they say they have 400 blend shapes, is that like mouth open? It's one.
The CryEngine and
Like,
our head rig.
is
of
that
the
one?
head rigs out there is
Like, does the intermediate, is there like,
by far the highest fidelity head
a
rig
blend shape
made
is just
done.
like a final
I
point,
think
right?
it's probably higher
So
fidelity
any kind
than
of
there with anyone else's,
morphing in between
head rig.
those two
But, yeah,
shapes,
so it's a
that
big
doesn't count
process
as an
where if you
individual
go
blend
into a
shape, right?
full set, an actor
That'd
will
be
sit
infinite.
in this sort of whole scanning setup. It can take anywhere, depending on how quick or slow the person in the seat is, an hour to 2 hours to do the full 78 pose set, and that builds, and that basically gets built down by a lot of the techniques that 3 Lateral do into this sort of 300 pose blend shape setup. And, then
And these
of
are
course
just
on top of
facial
the,
poses, right? The 78
400
facial
poses,
poses.
blend shapes. I think it's about 440 actually for our higher tier characters. It also has, you know, a whole bunch more. It has bones underneath that, like I think it's something like 100.
And that also drives specific maps. So when they're doing those specific faces,
Is there a game that allows you to upload your own blend shapes?
wrinkle
Like,
maps and animated diffuse maps.
not blend shapes, but
so
your own
it's not just blend shapes. It's not just bones.
smile animation?
A wrinkle map, which is sort of telling the shader kind of what.
I don't even know how that would work.
It's almost like a
the wrinkle information
bump.
you see here.
Yeah, kind of like it's a bump map, and then the animated diffuse is sort of showing like how your color changes.
I guess your own emotes.
When you scrunch something up, maybe you'll get
really
white,
red or white,
red or whatever it will be. So it's a pretty long process, but after even doing that, we bring it in, and then we actually do sort of an artistic pass.
Yeah, kind of like a makeup polish or makeup.
The wrinkle maps do look. The wrinkle maps do look good.
Scanned, it's you usually have to scrub their face, and so you can get these dots, and you get really.
Is the wrinkle map?
Of what they're
I didn't actually catch that. Is the wrinkle map an actual mesh deformation, or is the wrinkle map a
most of the time you have like
shader? It was from the front, so I couldn't see any depth. But
you don't look like you woke up in the
like a
morning.
bump, like is the shader, is the wrinkle map a bump map?
Light you properly, and so when we actually scan
A morphed
the
bump map.
actors, we don't want any teeth,
Yep.
and we still have a whole bunch of additional graphics work to be done. So the eye shader is going to get
Some
a lot
good
more
stubble.
work. Hair shader is a big one, so that's our probably weakest point now.
Like the
So
mouth,
a lot of
the extreme,
images
like-
you'll be seeing during this 10 for the Chairman.
That was good.
We don't have.
You don't see that a lot,
what
actually.
our
That's a good
hair
touch.
shader's gonna be, but our hair shader is going to be to the level of the best hair shaders you've seen out there in real time games. And,
Stubble looked good,
and
though.
then we'll also work a little bit on the skin shader too. So our goal is to sort of when
I felt the depth
characters,
in the shave.
when you play Squadron 42, for instance, the level of character tech and visual level will be as good or better than anything out there. So that's what we're shooting for. We're working really
Do you guys
hard.
think
There's a lot of
Chris
challenges
just sitting there like,
we're not there yet, but I think
guys,
we've
this
seen
game is gonna be amazing. Like, you have no
two
idea.
episodes, sort of some stuff
think
along
he's
the
like-
way,
do you
and
think he
hopefully we'll
knows?
get better. Okay, so the next question comes from Perry Hope, who asks, wouldn't it be nice to get some faces from your backers? Is that even possible? Can you tell us what
That's
is the
kinda cool.
hardest part of character creation and why? We just talked about how the process we go through.
They could do that.
scanning, and so
It's pretty in depth, yeah.
it's pretty in depth. I mean, so we definitely could scan some backers out there, but we would have to have the full rig set up. Right now, we have the rig set up at Ealing Studios. It takes a while to set it up, so we sort of kind of have a sort of semi-permanent setup at Ealing.
I will go right now. I will pay my own way. If you scan my face into this game, I swear to God, I'll find my way out there.
And at the same time, if we've got
And you do not have to pay me.
crew people or people
Quote
from
me.
here in LA or people from Imaginarium and they want to sort of appear in the game, we scan them too. It's not can't remember off the top of my head, but it's a much reduced set because we don't need to do quite as much because we don't build a full 400 blend shape setup for them. So there is that could potentially happen, although it requires a lot of work to do it at the fidelity that we're putting into the game. Sort of standard kind of techniques you can do, like for instance, you could take a webcam and you could.
Tell you, I'll just show up. I'll just show up at the studio.
Probably map your face there.
Map your face, yeah.
No cost to
you
you.
would have is it going to
except
look
time
weird at that level, and then
the question you run into with like that homemade either iPhone or whatever photogrammetry is that the lighting condition and then the fidelity. So as we were just talking, we want all of our characters to be able to stand next to each other. So you should be able to stand next to, as a player character, next to Gary Oldman or any of our top.
That's fair enough.
And if your lighting is weird, when you're
comes from Copernicus, I guess.
I think it's Copernicus.
Well, it's got
Copernicus, yeah. Copernicus.
Copernicus.
Copernicus. There you go.
Oh, I thought he was going to make fun of him for a second.
Be able to see the heads on the NPCs or players in the persistent universe. That would make for some nice variety. And how editable will they be once implemented for character creation? Up some, and obviously we're working hard at it on Squadron 42 because, as you can appreciate, in Squadron 42 we actually have about 300.
I was going to say, Squadron 42 is probably going to need a lot of that work.
An insane amount of speaking parts. Like, most movies would have maybe 30, 40 speaking parts or 50 speaking parts. It's a lot. And so each one of those will obviously need their own unique head. So a lot of it's going to be supplied by the custom actor stand.
How does anyone? I haven't.
Will be also
how long is? Did they give any hint on how long Squadron 42 is going to be? It's going to be like a 20-hour thing, or is it going to be close to like an 8-hour thing?
So it is kind of one of those things.
50 speaking parts. That's a lot, though.
So for Squadron for the background.
It makes me think it's going to be
all those speaking roles.
We're going to try and get a few things in for the next release, in the Star Marine one. But,
2.6.
As we move on to widening out the persistent universe with procedural planets and having some more landing locations, we're going to get more variety in there. And then, of course, Squadron 42 is going to feel like a movie. Everyone's going to feel like their own, cast member running around. It's all going to be very high quality and very cool. So, but yes, we are very focused on that. So we're sort of feeling like we're coming over the hump of getting the tech kind of to the place where we'll be able to mix and match some stuff. We still got some more stuff to do on the kind of morphing, build your own face stuff, but
with the faces we see on our characters.
They're a French Macintosh or not, but who asks, will the faces we see on our characters
Pupil to Planet? I don't know what that is.
The fidelity we saw on the character in Pupil to Planet, or better, or more simple like characters in the Morrow Tour. Okay, so forget the Morrow Tour.
I don't know what either of those things are.
There was a whole combination, and what you saw in Pupil to Planet was an untouched up head, and that was a tier 2 character. Our rating is, our top is tier 0, so that is what we use for Gary Oldman, Mark Hamill, Liam Cunningham, Mark Strong. They're all tier 0. Then tier 1 is the next level, so actually the actor Stephen Bislin that was playing Morrow is a tier 1 head, and then the next one down is a tier 2 head, which was Joachim Steiger, and then we have a tier 3 head, and that's basically our ratings. But all the heads have pretty much similar fidelity, and they all have to stand up next to each other because you can be standing in a conversation with a tier 0.
So then, if they're similar, then what the hell's the difference?
What's the tier 0 and the tier 1 and tier 2s is a tier 0 just has more facial
or blend shapes
in the mesh. So, like for instance, we use about 40,000 polygons when you're up close to a tier 0, whereas a tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 are about 10,000. Now, 10,000, much less, but 10,000 is up until now the top level of a AAA up close cinematic head character.
Level is the top level of most of the games.
You'd have to look close to really see that much difference. We do it for
slap in the face.
Oldman or the Mark Hamills of the world because we really want to capture every single nuance of their face when they're performing and talking,
their
the
facial
emotion.
Performance.
And so in those ones for the main characters, you're right up close to.
Doesn't that look like Davos?
We're just going.
Oh yeah, Liam Cunningham. That's right. I forgot that was his name.
A tier 0.
I actually didn't even know he was in that. That's awesome.
The same number of blend shapes, almost the same number of bones, and so outside
Liam.
of the mesh itself having just more density.
How did I not know he was in this?
Speaks mostly out of one side.
Don't they have like a tier 4 for like super background characters? Something that they could keep the resolution, poly count down, and the texture size down.
So like I said, ignore Morrow's Tour. That's the past. We've moved on quite a lot, and you can see in this video some of the differences
Yeah.
for what it is. And like we were talking earlier, there's going to be a fair amount of improvement even from here in terms of so
He's like,
it's generally the way it
let's
works.
move on, guys. Let's move on.
You know, you think something looks good, and then next year it looks better, and the year after it looks better, and you know, you could just take longer to stand up after sitting, or perhaps start to walk with a limp, having been shot in the leg earlier in the game. So we were definitely planning to do some animation that is specific to injuries and stuff like
That's
that.
cool.
You know, if you get shot in the leg or shot in the arm, we're actually planning to have that sort of impact and reflect on the character's animation. We haven't specifically thought about you aging as a character. It's actually a very cool suggestion. We do, and we have done in Squadron 42, specifically captured different walking and running sets and locomotion sets for the different actors, because, you know, obviously, you know, someone like, say, Mark Hamill, who's a little older, will move.
I feel like he kind of liked that idea.
20-year-old.
And then a younger Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
Good job,
younger
Fathom.
Mark Hamill. I
feel like,
you know, you never know. I mean, we're definitely going to.
We're going to see that.
You know, older person locomotion walking around NPC animation sets, and we'll have the younger ones. So at that point, it may actually not be that difficult to sort of move you through those bumps. Both NPC and player, what's the design plan to keep this from blowing up client resources within the persistent world game? We've thrown a bunch of numbers around, like, you know, the tier 0 is got 40,000 polygons for the face.
Tier 4 heads. That's the plan.
Blend shapes. The mesh itself, I think, with all the blend shapes and everything, was about
Watch
300
this.
megabytes without
It was
LEDs.
really, really expensive before.
Yeah, and yeah, so you could have maybe 1 or 2 heads on the screen, and we had like 44 different areas of like blended wrinkles and blended diffuse, and the texture was really high. So we used to have about 96 megabytes of blend textures, which is quite a lot of that, and then we had the diffuse, normal spec, transmittance, and the scattering mask, which were all these extra layers that bring the stuff in. So we had about 150 megabytes of texture memory per head at the resolution we're doing at these characters. That's a lot. That was a big focus of the graphics group and how to bring that down. So we brought both the mesh data down and also the texture data down. So we basically reduced the 300 megabyte mesh stuff down to about 30 megabytes. So that was more about the base mesh and how we were going to delta it and some clever compression stuff they're working. And then we also took the cost of all the
tenfold
textures
decrease.
down, you know, from something,
1/10 of the size.
You know, we did a special thing for the wrinkle and the blend maps and stuff, where we went from 72.
So now they can fit
megapixels
30
to
high-res
down to
heads
6. So,
on the screen.
you know, essentially
Huge savings.
we've done sort of a 10x saving, which makes it much more viable to have a lot of these heads. So that's pretty good. Last question comes from Felicia Faster Than Light, who asked, the 2 character design approaches I'm familiar with are the traditional choose from a number of presets approach, or the newer actually being able to edit vertex points within certain ranges approach like Black Desert. Which approach is Star Citizen going to use, or has the crew come up with an even more diabolical approach that will knock our socks off?
I think it's definitely a combination of both, like we talked about earlier. So starting with kind of a preset, you can choose your face, your skin color, your eye color, your hair color, and then being able to mix and match from all those other combinations of heads that we scanned. So it really is a little bit like looking at the Black Desert stuff. You can definitely change
It's not.
the cheekbone, and you can move it around. You can do stuff like that.
I don't think that's a combination of the two, though, right? Like, you're not manipulating
other
vertices.
mesh or other character information.
Yeah, I think if I remember when I was playing with it, you sort of select your base head and then you modify it, and they have some really nice.
But you
stuff
can
for
do the cheekbone then. All right.
hair and altering the hair or coloring the hair and moving.
I'm still confused. I don't get the answer.
It's not actually from what I can tell, it's not really drawing from a fully another.
Because they're saying.
Twisting and twisting and morphing.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that's kind of cool that we're going to try is we're going to give you those tools, but we're also going to blend heads together.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you can say, oh, I like that guy and I like that guy, or I like this girl and I like this girl, and let's merge them. And you know, maybe I'll take the jaw from here and the
kind of
forehead
that
from
mix
here,
and match thing.
and it will blend.
That's
and
it.
it'll blend
That's the
one
answer.
of the reasons why this live.
Okay. You can blend the 2 heads together. You can blend 2 or 3 heads together.
And it doesn't matter because
Then you can manipulate vertices independent of the blends.
So the inputs, the animation doesn't need to care where the eye position exactly.
That's
is.
powerful.
It doesn't care where the mouth position is. It just needs to
That
know
is powerful.
You know, mouth was moving and the eye. I think it's going to be pretty interesting. We'll see what
Awesome.
happens. Well, with that I think is our 10 questions
I think that's
that we
it.
had. And I'm sure you'll be seeing them on
Thank God.
episodes of Around the Verse.
Probably, yeah.
Showing some more of the really cool character stuff we're doing here.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of really cool stuff, and looking forward to showing it.
T-Bone.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Sounds like you're gonna love it.
I'm really psyched. We're sort of fine. Bye.
Thanks, guys. All right. So, I think we got our answer, guys. At least as far as the character customization, I think we can. And I'm trying to think of another instance, another character generator where you can actually blend two different model heads together, and then do independent vertice manipulation. That sounds kind of cool. So I could actually take a male head, maybe a female head. I want a male with more feminine features, so I want to mix those heads, but then I do some vertice enhancements where I want. Okay, that's kind of cool. I can't think of it like that's actually a specific example. I'm trying to think like Fallout. What did Fallout do? Fallout 4. No, it's just like regional, right? You could like mess with like a cheek, push it all around, and that was just a slider, right? So they'll probably do something. Yeah, there's a preset head, and then you can mess with those. So this is kind of cool. You could actually blend different. I don't know. Actually sounds like it should have been done before. That's really cool. Glad that's possible. Other than that, I mean, all the hair, the different features and stuff like that. A lot of that seemed pretty standard. I know it might be weird to say, but seemed kind of standard for character, at least an in-depth character customizer. No importing of assets. I don't think anybody really expected that, did they? But then again, maybe you guys did, or maybe that was promised. I don't know. But the tiered heads was kind of interesting, and the only real difference being the density of the meshes. The tier 0 through tier 4, actually tier 3. They didn't say tier 4. I said tier 4. I think it would be awesome if you guys scanned some backers' heads. All right, that was good information, guys. Do you as I said, I didn't have any idea of any of this beforehand. So is this new information for a lot of you guys? I want to know if this was actually, if they were delivering new information, or if this is all news to you. I've been doing a fair amount of research, and I haven't really come across anything. Not that I've been looking either, but I haven't come across anything with a customizer. So let me know if this is new information, and let me know if you guys were expecting more or less, or let me know if you think it's just right. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. I'm gonna get the info runner, trying to understand the info runner career. So I have a lot of questions about that particular career, and also spitting out some theories past you guys to see if any of that stuff might be possible. So I'm gonna get that video out as soon as possible. I know I promised a couple of you that it was coming down, but as I said, this kind of just popped in and got in the way. So all right, guys. You have a wonderful night. I hope your Thursday is tomorrow, or if maybe you're already in your Thursday, I hope your Thursdays are fantastic. All right, later, guys.